This is Mogul Talk. You already know what it is. It's your boys.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, The Sauce, aka the shit that be dripping down your girl's face.
Wow.
The shit that you be dipping mozzarella sticks in.
Oh my
or the swag
gosh.
glue that you be having when you put on your Air Max 95s. You know, curb stopping on these niggas. You know, it's wintertime. Shout out to Timberlands. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. What up? What up, King Jules?
I'm gonna have a simpler introduction. It's your boy King Jules. That's it. You already know what it is. You already know the vibes. YKTV. We're back here for another episode of Mogul Talk.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys for listening to episode 1 of season 2.
Swag.
We're going to be hitting it with, one every single week. We are now doing video. You know what it is. Thank you guys for joining us.
Shout out to YouTube, Revolt TV.
Yeah,
it's your boy Charlamagne the Guy, DJ Envy, Angela Lee. This is the Breakfast Club.
And we'll just, be stepping it up from here. But something I got to tell all of y'all is, when did y'all fucking think that a 10-year challenge was going to make y'all get more clout?
Seriously, some of these 10-year challenges that I've seen have been straight basura. Okay? Basura. And if you don't know what basura is, it is trash in Spanish, okay? It's my little bit of Spanish that I actually speak.
Some of y'all look worse.
Honestly.
Some of y'all, I can still see the stretch marks when you had a baby at 16.
Wow, so you really calling out niggas we can still see niggas who never really grew up, bro. Still out here pants sagging looking crazy.
I can still see the fake Prada sneakers you on that you had last 10 years and you put them on another pic.
Them fake Space Jams. You was flexing for the kids.
I'm just hating. Because, honestly, I wanted to do a 10-year challenge with my boy King Jules over here, but he was like, nah.
You know why? Because we don't see, there's the power of social media. Like, you don't realize, how much power social media has, and everybody is just the mentality of a follower is really ingrained in people's heads, where we're also concerned about Instagram followers, Twitter followers, clout, Instagram, and what that has everything to do with our ability to absorb something that somebody's given us and then go with it. So for somebody whoever came up with that 10-year challenge, they could have been harmlessly saying, oh, look, this is a transformation of, look, what if I lost a lot of weight in the past 10 years, or I grew, or I recovered from something, and you're doing this challenge, and who knew that that challenge is going to go viral enough for where everybody in the world is trying to do a 10-year challenge, and now every follower is doing it. And it's the impact that it's having.
Nah, definitely. It's so strange. Why did it happen now in 2019? Or, why did it happen in 2020? Or, is there a committee for these challenges? Because right before that, we had the Bird Box Challenge. Now, the 10-year challenge is a little bit better just because nobody's out here getting hurt. You seen little 3-year-old kids getting knocked into walls just because their parents want a little bit of clout.
Yeah.
Or you blindfolded driving down the street and then you crash and now you got a bigger issue just because you wanted an extra 10 likes on your shit. And now you got to go to court because you got into an accident and almost killed another person. You know what I'm saying? This should be getting out of hand.
It's
really the Tide Pod Challenge.
It really does get out of hand. And
I guess the 10-year was safe.
but why are we out here doing challenges following people to begin with? I know it's something interesting. Remember the ALS challenge, the mannequin challenge?
That was the original.
That was the original.
Yeah.
And now we were doing something for a good cause, but also people took it out of context. And I think that these challenges show.
And then when celebrities get involved, everybody got to do it.
It's literally, me and Kev just watched the Fire Festival documentary on Netflix, and it's just watching that. It shows the power of how persuasive we can be on society by doing the most minimal things. You have so much control over people by just doing a 10-year challenge. Imagine that Billy McFarlane or whatever had the power to bring all these rich white kids, Asian kids, everybody, all these little rich kids, bring them out down to an island, convince them to spend over close to $10,000 between a ticket, funding costs for, them being on the island and everything, and convince all these people to go to this island, to go to a festival that they've never heard of. Brand new, throwing all these big names that everybody want to hear.
All because Kendall Jenner put a fucking orange pick
on her thing. Bella Hadid put an orange pick on her thing.
And that's what it is. They were trying to sell a lifestyle. Much like Coachella. Coachella is a lifestyle. But even Coachella has become you're just going for the gram because you wanted to take a pic.
Yeah, exactly.
People just go there for that. And that's what Fire Festival was for other people. Albeit it was only rich kids because there's people spending $800,000 putting it on their wristband.
Bro, I can't afford to put $7,000 on a wristband just so I can go to an island and live up this lavish life that I'm not really flexing on.
Exactly, and it really just goes. I mean, he was also a scam artist. Like,
that's very
Coachella's
true.
not a scam artist, but people try to get it how they get it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And now you got to face the consequences. Now he's gonna be serving 6 years. Ja Rule is out here looking crazy.
You got to be careful what you attach your name to.
Especially
making the investments you make, the brands that you work with, the people that you work with. You can't attach your name to everything. Like, people are gonna want to give you opportunities, gonna want to work with you, gonna want to help you. But hey, I can't attach my personal brand to something that, one, I don't believe in. And if I believe in it, then I need to have 100% that this is either going somewhere, because if it's not going somewhere, I can't invest my time and energy into something that's not going to bring me a positive return. And him doing that, he probably believed, like, yo, I'm putting my name on this festival. I know this is going to blow up. We're going to make money off of this wholeheartedly. And then the dude is out here tweeting today that he got hoodwinked and bamboozled just like the rest of them.
Dick, shaking my damn head. It's just, you can't. Eventually, it does catch up to you. Even look at that kid who was faking being a doctor. And he did that shit for like 5 years. Biggest finesser ever. He just wanted to be a doctor. Now, I commend him because, you're just trying to be a doctor, trying to help people. I don't know if he was doing it successfully, but he finessed the game as well. But
he really did.
It catches up to you. Bernie Madoff, he was doing the pyramid scheme for fucking 50 years. Eventually, it caught up to him.
What was Leo DiCaprio's
Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall. What's the guy's real name? Jamie something? Was it Jamie? I don't remember. But that guy is a perfect example of what happens. You can't take advantage of people and take people's money, and like, they don't really think about the consequences. Like, look at
some people do, like big banks, especially this day and age. Like, they definitely take advantage of people. Big pharma, who their pills, Oxy is killing thousands of people every single day, and they're still masked behind the fact that they're just a pill company.
That's true.
Instead of like other people who actually are killing people as well, they get their just desserts. Yeah. Unfortunately. So I mean, there is a part of people who do get away with it. Like even Bank of America, they fucking served. Were able to allow the cartel all over the world to just fund their money through them, like funnel it through them. And they were using Bank of America and or I think it was HSBC. I'm sorry, HSBC. And they were able to like fucking pay their lawyers, get things pushed off for a court date, get everything set because they can afford this shit, and eventually just have to pay a huge fine.
That's true.
They're making billions of dollars. Okay, they got to pay $600 million fine, but that is nothing for them. They've been making this shit every fucking day.
That's it.
And but other niggas get finesse. The feds, bro, they'll get you.
Finesse is a word, bro. It's really a word. Like, to be honest, like, from companies taking advantage of people to our government to everyday people on the street, you know what I mean? Like, I had an interaction with a guy who this week, he was a homeless guy, kind of been on the streets for like the past 2 months, and he was telling me, like, typically he knows like other people who are out in the streets like him who would either go and try to hustle like $1 from somebody, or if they don't get that $1 from that person, they try to rob that person of their belongings or money or whatever. And it's like, that level of finesse goes all across the board. And, even like people in that position, you don't want to take advantage of somebody. Like, karma is a really big thing from the biggest level to the lowest level. Whether you believe in God, like the golden rule, these are you have a certain way of actions that you have to do that have negative reactions. You have positive reactions. And with that being said, like, hey, you know what? You can't always take advantage of people because it's gonna come to bite you in the bass. Yes, yeah. I'm thinking about fish. I'm thinking about bass right now. It's gonna come to bite you in the ass. See that fish? Wow. I'm playing. Rated PG-13. But yeah, it's very true, bro.
Nah, yeah, and I'm just trying to think like of people like much like Ja Rule, like other people who have, shit went left because they associated with themselves with a brand. I mean, it all comes like what we were talking about last week is you got to know who you're working with.
That's true.
You got to know who you're working with, and you got to make 100% sure. It's just like sometimes I can see like Ja Rule, maybe they got in too deep. And then if you get in too deep, it's hard to get out. Much like Freeway, Ricky Rick Ross, fucking drug kingpin. Eventually, He never got caught for selling drugs. It was on conspiracy, but eventually he could have taken all his money and go to an island away. But no, he decided to keep selling, keep pushing in the streets, and eventually got caught. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. But then again, like, especially as a black man, like, they always trying to take the black man down.
And that's the crazy thing.
Like, they unfortunately
he became the face of it when they didn't know. Like, I, up until watching the documentary today, did not know who Billy McFarland was.
Facts.
I heard that there were some investors that were working with the project, and then they wanted Ja Rule to be the face of the project because he was famous outside of the.
He was the Artist Connect.
Artist Connect.
Because he was originally on the app where you could book an artist for anything, and so that's really, he had the industry connect. You needed someone like that.
And so with that, I just didn't think that, like, when I saw what was happening, I was like trashing Ja Rule because, like, hey, look what you did. But it's like seeing it now, it's like, yo, there's so many people who work behind the scenes that will put you up and sacrifice you so they don't get away. Even Billy McFarland was like, yo, I'm not going to jail. He literally said in the documentary, like, I'm not going to jail.
When he asked his friend, like, what's it like to be in jail? And he's like, you got to go through 23-1. When you're first there for a week, you got to go 23 hours in the cell and 1 hour outside. And Billy was not prepared for that shit.
No, he wasn't.
He's not ready to.
I mean, but he's about to do 6 years, so it don't matter.
He's gonna have to. That booty about to be loose. But in the movie, you see the whole progression of how shit was going to get. There was a point where they had to fucking get the Evian water in through the ports, through customs.
And the
dude asked his friends. I forgot his name.
I think it was like a financial advisor or whatever who lived in the Bahamas. He would like work with Bahamas because like a lot of people, they fund their corporations through banks in the Bahamas, so there's no tracking and tracing, and that's who he was to them. And the guy, he pretty much was asked that they had a whole shipping crate full of Evian water for the guest, and he gave him the task to go to customs and ask customs to allow it. And pretty much asking the dude, like, hey, he literally said, and I quote, he says, you are our gay fearless leader. I want you to go over there and suck his dick. And the guy, realistically speaking, I just don't understand why. He prepared himself. Took a shower.
Brushed his teeth.
Put some mouthwash. He prepared himself to go there to customs to suck the guy's dick.
And I don't know how someone could think that they're going to just accept that. Unless he's gay himself. Did he know he was gay? Like, how you going to pull up? Imagine you're a customer and this nigga pulls up to you. Yo, I'm going to suck your dick.
Honestly, like, don't be a menace to South Central. He's like, yo, let me suck your dick, nigga.
Fucking A, man. But, I can understand. But he wasn't a crackhead.
Nah, he wasn't.
Crackheads will do anything for that rock. But sometimes you got to do anything for that water.
Crack. Crack.
Would you have taken the blowjob?
No, I wouldn't have taken the blowjob.
I probably would have.
That's just not me. Because like I feel like that
that's illegal.
It's illegal. That's bribery, but do a sexual act, I think. And then with that, like the one you're literally like. You would feel so disrespected if you would have got on the receiving act of that, and then if the guy who was on the giving act of that, it's like, how can you go on in your job like after that, dealing with that situation?
Especially if like he didn't make me come after, I'd be like, yo, come on, son. This is you want me to? I'll give you half of the water. No, I'm playing. Turns out in the story,
he gave it to him.
Was very very nice actually. He didn't have to offer him the blowjob.
Yeah,
and he just did it. And in promise of getting money first.
But it's like, look at that power of control. Like, look how much control that Billy had over that guy to convince him to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then how willing he was to sacrifice. And I feel like with us in today's day and age, there's no real independence. Like, we're all either following somebody, following a trend, trying to copy something that's gone, that somebody's already done or that they're doing. And, like, we're not being independent of ourselves. And I remember watching B.B. King in an interview, and he was talking about how, like as a musician, the reason why sometimes we're not successful is because when we first start out, we're so busy copying somebody else. We're always emulating somebody else's sound. So think of your favorite rapper or singer. When they come out, you think like, oh, wow, like PJ Morton kind of sounds like Stevie Wonder, or this person sounds like Patti LaBelle, or this person sounds like that person. So there's always that artist comparison to be like, okay, I got to listen to that person because they sound like this person. And you're never going to grow if you are in a process of copying and follow somebody else. You got to like come into your own, be independent, be your own person, be your own artist, be your own creative. If you spend your time creating, copying what other people are already going to do or are already doing, you're just going to miss opportunity because you're never going to become yourself, and you're just going to be a carbon copy that's just doing the same thing over and over again.
Biggity facts.
You know?
I mean, it's like, people want, like, that's why fraternities exist, sororities exist. Mm-hmm. People want to have a sense of belonging.
Yeah, always.
And some people, unfortunately, can't think for themselves. Mm-hmm. It sucks, especially in this day and age. We're so distracted by so much information, distracted by our phone, social media. Like, you need someone else's voice to show you, I guess. And Billy showed them the first installment when they had all the influencers come to the thing. Mm-hmm. They were drinking and turning up. He was showing them like, oh, this is possible. And if someone shows you something, you're more than likely gonna follow.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work for everybody. That's why you have people like Ted Bundy, who's about to get a Netflix film having a cult, mm-hmm. or you have someone like Paul Pa,
or somebody like R. Kelly,
Like, you want that sense of belonging, and of course, it also there's a psychology to like how you were raised mm-hmm. and everything like that. But it's hard. It's hard to not be put into that filing system. Even in like you watch Fight Club, when he's in the beginning like doesn't want to continue with the 9-to-5 shit, and they go join the Fight Club to try and get out of that conforming society, try to break from the norm. Mm-hmm. And then eventually when the people in Fight Club take over everything, they all become the same person. They mm-hmm. all have the same name. They all have the same haircut. And they just become exactly what they didn't like. And that ends up happening as well. Like when you try and get something where you think you might be going through the right path, and it'll end up biting you in the butt again.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you 100%. It's just the way of the world, and I always feel like with us.
I don't feel bad though for all the white kids.
No, I really don't. I feel like this is
just crazy.
They're
all rich people who got screwed.
It
was,
like remember the guy. He imagine you put a $4,000 pay for a $4,000 travel ticket in the show, then put money on your thing. He invested, that was a $7,000 investment that returned into $5 million in damages. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And if that is not a smart play, even if rich, poor,
Facts.
Middle class, you turn $7,000 into $5 million just because because of circumstance.
This is what you call a flip.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's crazy to think about that. But, I feel like in life, we always want what we can't have or what we don't have. You know what I mean? We're always trying to attain like something, whether it's financial status or, personal status. We always want to be higher. We always want to be greater. And with that, we're willing to do anything to get that. We're willing to sacrifice anything. We're willing to give ourselves up. And, that's a really real sad part about it, you know?
And I mean, why do you think, like, what's the overall goal though to get that status? Like, I feel like for guys, it's always like, oh, so I could get any girl.
Like, well, yeah. For instance, if we think about that, like,
not you because you have a girl, like, so I know that's not your.
But like
motivation.
I think that's where we gotta draw the picture from. It's like, what is the motivation behind it? For if we think about beauty or like beauty standards, women always try to attain a certain level of beauty. They want to be comfortable in their skins. They want to be comfortable in their jobs. You know what I mean? They want to be accepted in their families' light, their friends' light, but love to be admired. For guys, we're always trying to be like, yo, how many girls can we bag? How can we impress the next dude? You know what I mean? Like, oh, yo, I got the new Yeezys, or I got these new Jordans, or if you're thinking about tech, like, hey, I got this new computer, I got this new phone. You know what I mean? We always want something that we can't have. You know what I mean? And that's, I feel like in the black community, that stems from us not having mm-hmm. the same, and, white privilege versus what we, the black experience. And, a lot of people grew up in poor middle class families, and shout out to the people who were not, brought up in that situation. But like kids that were in poor middle class families, what they're obtaining they're goal is, they want to be better than what their parents were.
Facts.
You know, they want to get out of the projects. They want to get out of the hood. They want to work a good job. They want to have, you know, the car. They want to have the great credit score. You know, they want to have the girl. You know what I mean? And like for us in the black community, we're always trying to attain that. We want better. You know what I mean?
Facts,
And that's why we out here breaking our necks to get the $300 Jordans or get the $300 Yeezys, to be finessing in Gucci and Balmain and all these designer labels where we feel like we're getting a cosign because we have it. It's like, yo, okay, I see you, my nigga. Like, you got those new Yeezys. All right, I see what you doing. How you got those Yeezys? You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching you because I see you out here, and on the outside you're flexing. You know what I mean? That's where you look like you got it, but in the inside you could be living in a roach infested apartment. You know what I mean? Or you could be really self insecure.
And them Yeezys ain't gonna get you out of that.
And it's not gonna get you out of that. And that's why, like, you know, jokingly I say, like, if I ever reach a point where I'm rich, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go stupid with money. I'm literally going to live the same life that I would live. Because to be honest, like,
you know, maybe just a little better car.
A little better car, better apartment situation, better housing, food. You know. Eat takeout every day. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But, you know,
you can't switch up the lifestyle. You know, that's how you'll get something like Jeff Bezos, who doesn't have a prenup. And his wife, he's gonna have to probably give her half because he's from Washington D.C. The law there indicates that. So
I mean, with that situation, like,
but like in law, well, not in law, but in the court, they're gonna be like, oh, you have to make sure she is able to keep up her lifestyle.
Her lifestyle, because this is what she was accustomed to.
And however fucked up that may sound, that's what he's gonna have to do. I mean, you know, they were married for 30 years.
And that's with that situation, like, I didn't think that, like,
20, I don't know.
It wasn't negative. Like, at certain points, you know, like,
he fucked up. He cheated on her.
He did.
Wildin'.
But in that situation, like, I think about it is, you built a life with somebody that you loved, whether you fucked up or not. You know what I mean? And whether you guys get divorced amicably or you get divorced and you guys want to kill each other and you're at each other's throats or whatever, at the end of the day, they're entitled to what you have just as much as you are. And I feel like in that situation, I feel like she is entitled to some of his money. Do I feel like she's entitled to $135 billion? No, because I don't know what she's going to do with $135 billion. That's what they were saying that she was going to be getting. But, I don't know. You know, making sure that for the rest of her life, yes, she's comfortable. She has a nice house. She has a nice car. She has the same lifestyle. That's understandable. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people, their reception was like, yo, she's got to get $135 billion. Like, for what? What does she do to get that money? It's like, for 30 years, when this nigga was broke, that he was working out of his garage, they didn't have any money. I'm pretty sure, and I know most women do it when their niggas is doing stuff, they hold it down, okay? You feel me? You know, like, whether it's sacrificing a portion of themselves, you know, sacrificing their home situation or their lifestyles just so they can build the dream. And then once they have the dream, that's when, you know, the time that you got to repay them. You know what I mean?
70 billion?
But I imagine if they signed a prenup, she would still have to get half.
Depends what it was, how the prenup was filled out.
Sure.
Unlike Chris Rock, like, he had a prenup, but his only lasted for 20 years, and he was married for like 23 years, so it was expired, and so he had to end up giving like half of his shit. I mean, I feel you though. Like, she probably raised the kids, even though he probably could have afforded. Well, I guess not in the beginning, but because he was a millionaire in like '99.
Yeah.
You know, like, once selling books and shit. And although Amazon, isn't even like, it is a profitable company, but they are wasting more than they can make. They don't have that much cash. Unlike Apple, they got like $50 billion in cash that they can just use. That's why they're investing billions into streaming service now that they're supposedly about to drop to compete with Netflix. But which I don't even know if that's gonna work. It might, because you know what Apple's doing is like now Alexa can have Apple Music.
True.
And Samsung and LG TVs now
have Apple capabilities.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
And so they're setting it up. They're planting the seed to potentially try and get the streaming game on lock. But visually, I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know.
I mean,
because there's so many out here.
Apple has the money to do it and shoot their shot. Yeah.
But again, with Jeff Bezos, like, he did fuck up. But I also do understand, he could just give her the $75 billion because He don't even need 135 either.
What do you need with $1 billion?
They don't need. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't even need it. So if I were him, which it seems like he's doing, I don't know how it is, but he's probably gonna be like, whatever, have it, and it'll probably a lot of it be in stock, Amazon stock that she can keep.
And if she wants to turn it into liquid cash and sell her shares, exactly, she can do that.
And like I understand that's the mother of his kids. If anybody has my kids, they should be good for life.
Yeah,
always. No matter what. But he, what ends up being your kryptonite is a Latina woman. I see you, Jeff Bezos. You had to take your man's girl, but a 50-year-old Latina woman, she was just probably she was cooking, cleaning for this nigga. He felt so appreciated. That's what you gotta do. You got to appreciate your man. And his ex probably didn't appreciate him enough. He's like, I have to get this Latina pussy.
But you know what it is? I don't think it's that.
Nah, I don't.
But, sometimes that these niggas, they just be making wrong decisions out here. Fellas making...
Where did he get the time, bro? I know this nigga is busy. I'm pretty sure his schedule is broken up into 5-minute increments. It has to be. Where did this nigga get the time to go and fuck another...
You make time to do what you want to do. I'm telling you, make time. You make time with your friends. You make time to hang out with your friends. You work a 5-day work week, 2 days off on a weekend, and you still make time to go hang out with your friends.
Facts.
Do your homework, or if you're in school, make time to go take dance class, go to the gym. You make time for the shit that you want to do.
That's a fact.
But I mean, since we were talking about brands, I noticed recently with I saw some tweets from Def Jam and from BET, and I kind of the thought was just are these brands losing their touch? I think the tweet was Def Jam was asking who was the next artist up in Chicago.
Right?
And then BET had a similar tweet, but it was related to a content. It was a video or something like that.
And everybody's like, I thought that was your job.
Yeah, it's I was like, hey, look, fire your whole A&R team, hit me up, and we'll build an A&R team for you. We'll tell you who those artists who are up next are.
Dead ass, yo, especially now in the internet age,
it should be so easy to find the artist who's
just
up
go
next.
to complex.com and you could find something, or go to SoundCloud.
True.
And get the top 100 people who are on there in Chicago that are buzzing. Go, I don't know, call Chicago. You have Def Jam money. You can just fly to Chicago, go to one of the Chance's open mics that he be having every Wednesday, and see who the fuck is doing something, I can understand it's just a tweet, but the criticism is real.
Are these brands
accurate.
out of touch? And for Def Jam and for BET, they've been a part of the black experience for a very long time. Def Jam has been a part of hip hop culture for over 40 years. You know what I'm saying? BET has been the pinnacle of black culture for the past 30 years. With their beginning, and with that, it's yes, I've noticed, and maybe you've noticed too. The quality of BET has went down after 106 and Park died.
I mean, they came back up with the New Edition shit.
I mean that
was just one thing.
That was their comeback was docuseries and big event movies, and that was good. But there was no consistency. And I was talking to Allison the other day, yo, look how important was 106 and Park was to the music culture in general. You know what I mean? I didn't know about who dropped a new music video, who dropped a new single. A lot of world premieres came out on there. Great performances came out on there. We got exposed to the Freestyle Friday and new rappers. Yeah. And it's really we need that in the culture. And it's just now that they kind of take that away from us, we're losing sight of what we need. And then now they're kind of reaching back out to us to be what do we need?
Yeah, the reason I feel the A&R position, I guess, is dead now, is because before that, artist development died.
True.
And nobody wants to develop artists anymore. They just want to see who is viral, who may put themselves on, which I appreciate. We got to put ourselves on. I understand that. But that's not how it always was. Or what? I don't know.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, and so... If one, they're not having artist development to try and, even though I feel there are artists who have work developed, like SZA, I feel she was developed. Her new album Control didn't. It took a while to drop after Z, her EP came out 4 years before that.
True.
They were developing her. I understand that, and she does need vocal lessons, but and so I can understand that. But other than that, they just want a bad Bobby. Oh, Atlantic, I see this person's buzzing on the internet. They went viral. We're gonna sign them. Get them a ghostwriter.
You know,
that just seems to be the case. There are other rappers though. You know, you got your JIDs because J Cole was authentic. He's gonna get authentic people. Who else? I don't even
Bass.
know. Yeah, Bass. I mean, that's Dreamville. Dreamville it is. And so is TD. TD is gonna be the shit. You know, they just had. I forgot TD's new nigga though.
Reason.
Yeah. You know, Reason is cold. You know, and he seems authentic. But
actually, you know what it is the record labels in general. So we like back in the day, we had like the big three, which were the big three, which is like Universal, Sony, and EMI, and then EMI became Sony. With Universal, and like they merged.
Sony, Universal, and Columbia.
Yeah. So with that being said, it was like a point where labels were not trying to invest the money back into artists because back in the 80s and 90s, I feel like they were trying so hard to invest in so many artists at one time that they were investing into artists that had maybe a one-hit wonder or artists that had a one great album and then fell off the face of the earth. And really think about like the 90s was a great pinnacle time for music, but think about how many one-hit wonders came out in the 90s. How many artists that like blew up really, 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 really fast and then died out just as fast as they came out. You know what I mean? And labels, they saw the backlash of that in the early 2000s where they were just like, you know what? We can't afford this. And let's to be honest, if you ever seen the Defiant Ones documentary, you know, Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre were talking about how after the early 2000s that they thought that the music industry was going to die. And you know, Apple kind of paved the way to bring back the music industry with iTunes and the iPod. That kind of opened the door, you know, to the streaming platform eventually that we have today. But think about it before, you know, they were ready to call it quits on the record business.
With the legal downloads and the internet.
Yeah, the LimeWire, Napster.
Definitely they were ready to call it quits.
FirstWire.
And I mean, probably even like before that, like they probably, because in the 80s and 90s, the budget for music videos,
you would spend like $1 million on a music video.
And now you'll be lucky if you get a 50K for a video.
Not even just for a video. You really think about it, like your big artists, they're just getting like maybe like $1 million, $2 million advances, and that will cover their recording of their project, the touring, the videos, treatments, and the promotion and marketing and distribution and radio play. And that's all the record labels are willing to give you is $2 million at best. And we see what you can do with that $2 million. And if you can turn that $2 million around with sales and streaming and all of that, we're gonna give you a little bit more to see how much the budget can spread and stuff like that. But like record labels, they weren't really willing to take that risk. And even right now, like, you know, the fact that they're looking for people who have 100,000 plus followers and have, you know, a certain amount of streams on Spotify and Apple Music and SoundCloud, and their project did this number and all of this extra shit. It's like they want to have an artist that already has the work done for them. So all they got to do is just put their little hand in and say, hey, I'm going to take a small percentage of what you got just to help you to get this started. And then everything else, you got to cover it. It's all yours. And that's why you see more now than ever, like artists are making their own labels under bigger labels. Right. Hey, my name is Kehlani and I'm doing my own label under Atlantic. And then Atlantic is, you know, under Warner, which is under Universal. And it's like, when you really think about it, like how many niggas is really touching your money before you actually get it? If Universal is the top, right? So Universal, then it goes down to Warner. Warner touches your money. Then Atlantic touches your money. Then Kehlani herself touches your money before she distributes it out to your label. And then you are the artist that she's putting on. And imagine that you working with some artists or low-key producers on the side that's helping you to put your project on. So you're touching their money before they actually get it.
Facts.
And it's a whole cycle and an endless pyramid and chain of this going on. It's crazy.
And those top people are getting paid. Their money's gonna be cut for them first than yours.
So if that $2 million that they giving you, I'm pretty sure that you like, you know, it's like when they say you win the lottery and you win $5 million, but after taxes, half of that is gone, and you actually get $2 million, and then that's all you got left to split up between yourself and everybody else that you got to look out for.
Nah, it is like and much like even like festivals, going back to festivals, they don't see profit within like their first or second year. They have to where they make sure everything gets finally perfected. They'll finally turn that profit for the investors after like the third year.
Yeah.
That groundwork needs to be done in order for I guess if you put yourself out, like look at Chris Brown. Finally, he just got a new deal after doing 10 albums on RCA, and now he has a new deal with RCA, and he finally is now owning his masters. Took fucking how long? 2005 Chris Brown came out? It's 2019. You know, whatever.
But not a lot of people
have any leverage. Yeah, no, not
a lot of people own their masters. Like the fact that the Beatles catalog was owned by Michael Jackson. Yeah, you know what I mean? He bought their catalog. So imagine they came out way before he did. So after that, like imagine 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old Michael Jackson being in control of the Beatles. Mm-hmm. And their masters and how their music is released and how it's marketed and everything. His estate is in control of that. You know what I mean?
That's where the money is, bro. Publishing.
It's always been in the publishing, but people don't think that. People think, and that's why, like, the whole system of people trying to, like, jump in the music industry and be like, yo, I want to be an artist, I want to be a producer, I want to do this, I want to do that. The money's not in being an artist. The only way the money's in being an artist is if you're touring and if you got endorsement deals or you're working with brands. As a producer, the money for a producer is in the publishing that you get from the songs, the publishing that you get from working with people on the albums and stuff like that. Working for publishing companies, that's where the money is because that's what's keeping track. Sync licenses, licensing for movies, television, Spotify playlists, stuff like that, commercial spots, like that's where the money comes from. But people don't know that. They just think like, yo, the Migos, we out here, you know, I see their fast life, I want that. You want to be that nigga that's making money for the rest of his life, not making the money right now.
Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back, I promise you, definitely gets 1,000 sample clearances run by him like a day. Mm-hmm. Like, you got one song, and that shit is going to last you the rest of your life. Like, even Anaconda, who ended up becoming a number 2 song on the Hot 200, Sir Mix-a-Lot's getting that money. Mm-hmm. There's countless commercials, countless movies that are using that shit. Mm-hmm. Countless, I don't even know what else it could be used for. And he's making that money back.
Yep.
Sting, freaking Juice WRLD, for Lucid Dreams. Mm-hmm. He's sampling Sting on that. Sting is making 90% of the money on that shit. Mm-hmm. And then that 10%, you know, Juice WRLD, whatever, might not need it, might not care because he's touring or whatever, but honestly, like, they're producers who aren't touring or anything like that.
Who take a smaller percentage.
That advantage is not going to help them as much, and they're going to be tight. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why his producer was, you know, saying shit on Twitter like, oh my God, I'm only getting like mad little. Sting is taking 90% of my shit. But that's where the money is.
But you got to also know, and for young producers, is that yes, you can want a sample, but knowing how much of a sample to use, and also to know, okay, you're working with an artist. Okay, the artists say they pay you a set amount of money. So say the artist is paying you $500 for that beat. You take a $500 upfront cut, but also in the deal, you can talk like, I want to keep the publishing and owning of the rights of the beat, while you only get the rights to what you wrote. Because a lot of times now is that the artists are exclusively licensing these beats, and that they're giving away, the beat makers are sometimes giving away all their rights to the artist for that $500 payout. And then the artist walks away, and then the beat maker doesn't get anything. For example, I had a guy who I knew, he was working with Designer, got on Designer's first project, $400 that he got paid for that beat. And asking me, yo, what should I do about the publishing and stuff like that? And I'm like, yo, this is what you should do. This is how it should be laid out. You want to keep that money because, hey, he paid you $400 for that beat. And imagine that beat goes and does 50,000 streams on YouTube, on Spotify. It does numbers on YouTube. It blows up. And you only walk away with $400. And now he's eating off of everything because you didn't keep a part of what you own, a part of the publishing, you know?
And it only takes that one song.
One song.
And it could be yours.
It could.
And you never know, man.
I mean, now the kid is he went platinum for Culture 2.
That's right.
Yeah, went platinum. Now working with Designer led him to go in platinum with Culture 2, and a drop with that. And even with him with that, it was a big thing because at first the Migos didn't give him the credit for the beat. Like they used his beat, and Offset, you know, took the beat from him or whatever. He sent it to Offset, but they didn't give him credit at first or whatever. And he still had to hunt him down and be like, "Yo, give me my credit for my beat. Pay me up for the beat. Like I sent you this pack, but you ain't do what you're supposed to do." And that's what happens a lot of times to these producers, you know.
And then that song gets big, and then you got to get into lawsuits, but you didn't blow up that much, so their lawyers can pour out as much money as they want. But
and then just shit on you. You know what I mean?
Like,
some bedroom producer who's just trying to make it.
And some niggas do that to get their name out because that could also bring awareness some sort of way. Like, oh, there's this producer doing this, but you just got to make sure your paperwork is right, man.
Always make sure your paperwork is right. The first thing as any business you're trying to start is definitely find legal counsel. When it's no matter what you're doing, from music to you're starting a mom and pop business, always find legal counsel because the lawyers, are the plugs because they work with people from every industry. That's... So they can help you go somewhere to the level where you want to go. For especially in music, once you got the right lawyer, they can introduce you to the right people. You know why? Because they talk to other lawyers who handle other contracts, who can get you in a room with the people that you want to talk to. With that, they look out for you. They tell you, like, hey, you're paying me, but I'm going to give you 100%. Like, hey, this is what you should do. This contract may not be the best deal for you. You know what I mean? Facts. Maybe you should relook at it. Maybe, we should get more out of it. I believe in what you have. We need more out of this, Have somebody who is not a part of your circle. And like you said to me today, you don't need yes men. You need what men? You need what men? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, yeah, man. And also another thing, only your friends can betray you. Your
only friends
can't. Your enemies can never.
Judas Iscariot,
Shit.
Betrayed Jesus, man.
And with that, man, I think we're like at 40 minutes right now.
Probably.
This is probably way more than you're gonna listen to, but that shit was beautiful, bro.
It was a great dialogue.
Great flow. We got some shit coming up.
First guest coming up, loading soon.
23rd, right?
Yeah, we should be.
That's
the plan.
We'll confirm soon, but yeah, first guest. Or I mean, for this season.
Good
friend of ours. You'll see who it is, and entrepreneur himself.
Yes.
Definitely gonna have a lot of gems. And, I'm really looking forward to that conversation.
Good times. Follow us on Instagram at Mogul Talk Podcast. We have a Twitter now. It's Mogul Talk Pod. You can stream the episodes every week from We Are Roundtable.
Yeah.
WeAreRoundtable.com. For us, by us, bro.
And then if you don't want to go on our website, we understand, but you can also get that shit on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts.
Swag. Type in Mogul Talk. It comes up, right King there. Jules and the Sauce.
And you already know. This is the sauce. Anything else? Nah, nothing else.
That's it.
We'll be back next week. Let us know what you think. New flicks coming. Oh, we also on YouTube.
We love y'all. This is King Jules.
This is the sauce.
And this is Mogul Talk.
Peace.